Hold on to your butts. It's Wilhelm Screamfest.
Today we're doing Massacre Monday, which is just all gore movies. Gore. Before we do that, we're gonna introduce I have two guests this time. Sam the teacher and Dave the teacher. That's right, I have Sam and Dave.
Two teachers.
Yeah, we're both teachers, and our names are Sam and Dave.
Yep.
Dave, you have a...
Oh, yeah, I run a film club at the high school I teach at, and there's like...
Lucky.
It's a large group of students, but there's like a small inner group of them that are like really dedicated film buffs, and it's cool because they're getting older, and some of them are like considering doing like studying film in college, so it's kind of cool to be a part of that.
Yeah, that's totally awesome.
Yeah.
It's good to have, or to know that the youth are into the movies just as much as we are. I mean, we're young, but...
Yeah, and not just that, but that they're into like analyzing specific aspects of it. Like there's a few that are really into scores. There's a few that are really into directing and stuff. There's none that are yet into like editing and things like that. So I'm trying to like make sure that we're like looking at everything when we, or at least focusing on certain things more than others when we watch certain movies. Which is why this is cool, because this will be a good practice for me.
Yeah.
In addition. So.
Ikaika, did we have anything like that at our high school?
If we did, I knew nothing of it.
Yeah, I knew nothing of it too.
I mean, I wish we did.
Yeah, man.
I think there's maybe like a cool, I don't know, maybe a teacher had a movie on a Wednesday or something, but
a lot of schools have like a film appreciation club, which is just a bullshit club where they just watch films. But I'm like trying to teach film literacy to like my students.
Hell yeah.
I should have done that. I was in Tech Deck Club.
Yeah. Wait, Tech Deck Club, the little mini skateboards.
We had
Club.
like
or Key Club. Yeah.
we had like a legit like skate park, like ramps and everything.
Like a mini skate park thing?
Yeah, dude.
No way. Oh, wow. Okay. That's cool.
Okay, so the gore in this movie. This is Massacre Monday. The gore is the main part of Monday reviews, and The Thing is very much a gory movie. I think that's what gravitated me towards watching this movie. Is I love practical effects.
Yeah.
Whether
definitely.
it's practical effects just for the amount of time and art that went into, and also to see how crazy and one-upping what's been done before. And The Thing, I feel like, set the standard for insane practical effects.
That shit's still good today, man. Yeah. It's still good today. And the practical effects are what make it good, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like the most famous scene is when, I can't remember who it is that's on the table. That's dead.
The chest chomper.
Yes, and the chest just, that part like scares the shit out of you if you don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
And
so
then like all the tentacles come out, and you think, okay, that's going crazy enough, and then the head starts decapitating, which they used bubble gum and they melted it.
Oh, did they?
That's cool. Yeah.
And just all that stuff together, you're just like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And then it grows legs, and you're like, what the fuck is happening?
It starts moving around.
Yeah.
One funny thing I was just reading about that scene is that the actor who actually puts his arms in the chest before the arms get ripped off, they replace that actor with an actual double amputee, like an actual dude who had no arms, and they put on fake arms with like jelly blood, basically, like at the stumps or whatever. And then for at least that shot when the arms rip off, that's who that was,
fucking cool.
Which I think is that is hella cool, and it makes me wonder like what it must have been like to be a double amputee and like kind of exploit my.
Hey man, you want to be in?
Hey, yeah, no, fuck it, yeah, that's cool, man. I would do the same thing. So.
Well, it's like when they have like little people in movies, they exploit things.
Exactly. Oh yeah,
Hey,
totally.
we need you to be or we need you to be an Ewok. Like, come on.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. What do you guys think? Or the first time you saw this movie, like just the gore factor.
It's like definitely the most like sort of striking factor of the movie. It really it's definitely the most like creative element of the movie. It's just, and still to this day stands the test of time. I still have rarely seen anything that looks more crazy than the shit that you see in The Thing.
And that's a testament, like, again, I'm saying to the practical effects, man. You know, I feel like they stand the test of time. Think of all these badass movies with all this good special effects. The practical effects are what make it. You know?
Yeah.
It feels real, you know, even though it's not. If it were completely CGI, you would be completely out of the film. But because it's something that you could actually It looks tangible. It's actually getting on the characters, on the actors. You know, the blood coming out, the guts, whatever is coming out. It feels real, you know? So you buy into the story. You buy into the characters. You buy into the film. And that's, to me, why it's so powerful.
Yeah, so that's like what makes A Nightmare on Elm Street so good, is they use the practical effects throughout the whole series until the remake, which I only watched the death scenes, and I'm like, all this is CGI? Like, this looks like dog shit. Come on.
Yeah. I know. Isn't it depressing when you see a overly CGI'd movie that also looks terrible in CGI? Like, it looks like...
And the 80s version has better acting than the modern. Like, how?
Yeah.
This is like a $20 million movie.
Well, and so this is... Yeah, exactly. And this is what I appreciate about certain, especially horror films, is and all these ones that spawn these like huge series, which always get shittier and shittier progressively. You know, I mean, you look at every great slasher series, or even the more modern ones like Saw and stuff like that. They just become, you know, like played out basically. But when they're doing those first ones, right, those first few, they're doing it on a small budget, you know, and it requires that they be, because there's no franchise yet, you know, and so it's just a studio rolling the dice with some young new director, you know, and like maybe he has a couple of cool things that he's done, but like, okay, keep going, you know, and here's a really big budget this time, and but it's still relatively small budget, you know, and they have to be creative with what they've got, you know, and that is, I think that's what sort of can make or break a movie and cement it in our minds or whatever. But yeah, and then of course, you know, once these big gigantic budgets get thrown at them, then they, in a way, it makes it worse, you know, because they don't have to be as creative. And so yeah, like with the visual effects especially, you know, they had to storyboard the fuck out of it and like really know what they wanted to make before they made it. And then use really creative processes to actually make the physical, you know, objects and stuff, like the Jello arms and the melted bubblegum and stuff like that.
The melted bubblegum.
I think it's kind of sad that this movie isn't like as big of a franchise as, say, like Alien or Predator.
I agree. I completely agree.
This could be a great comic book series. It's just just the art design that could, because the monster, the alien, when it transforms, it's not just like blood or like a blob, like it's a mix between some random thing or like what it's taken before. Maybe, like when it's a dog with like.
Which can we talk about that for a minute actually?
Yeah.
Because that's one thing that makes like zombie films stand out so much, is that it's a transformed human, you know, that still looks mostly human, but obviously it's dead and stuff like that. And a few other types of monsters, like even in older, more classical like literature and stuff like that, where there's some resemblance to a human,
like
is that exactly, is that it makes you, it forces you to reflect on yourself, you know, and it's kind of traumatizing when the monster is at least human-esque, you know. It kind of makes it more monstrous, even if
you can identify with what happens.
Yeah, exactly. And when in a way, what's even scarier than the actual half transformed monsters, the gore monsters that look half human, and it's like, it's not even half human. It's like a distorted, chaotic version of a human, basically, where it's just this horrifying thing. But even more horrifying than that, in its own way, is when it's fully transformed, and then you don't know if it's fucking someone that you can trust or not. You know,
that's leading to the scare factor, the suspense, where
who the fuck is it?
Like who is it? And sometimes, like when you're watching the movie and the person's questioning the other person, like, okay, is that the person who's questioning everyone else? Like,
right, exactly.
And even if there was, I feel like this can happen even if there wasn't an alien presence.
Right.
Like, were they in are they?
They're in the Antarctic.
Antarctic,
yeah.
And so they're secluded from everyone in buttfuck middle of nowhere in the snow, and with that, like, everyone's just their build up tension of, okay, I'm seeing the same 5 people over and over again, but this person's acting a little bit different. Like, what the fuck did they just do?
Exactly.
And I don't know, that just adds even more to the terror.
That's
of
a
this
testament to, you know, good directing.
Yeah.
You know, the director can really be like, okay, look, talking to his actors, this is how you're going to act. I want it to be a little different, you know, because I want you to give the audience that one little thing, you know, make them think that it's you. Maybe it's not even you. Make them think that it's you.
Well, and also, you know, when people are, when people can't trust anyone that's around them, and when they get paranoid as a result, paranoia causes you to also act erratically. You know what I mean? So no one's acting themselves because everyone's terrified or they're turned. And again, and I love movies that do that, like in all the Invasion of the Body Snatcher movies and all the different versions of them. It's such a cool concept, you know. The Faculty, you know, have you seen The Faculty?
Yeah. Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You know, you don't know who to trust and who not to trust, and then one of my personal favorites, Cabin Fever. Back when Eli Roth was like doing good movies, is like I love that because they're isolated out in the woods and then they don't know who to trust. They don't know who's sick and who's not sick, and obviously it's a little bit more sinister with The Thing because it's not just who's sick and who's not sick, but it's who is an alien that's gonna try to kill you at some point. And that to me, being scared of your own family or being afraid of your own friends is like way worse than like the monster itself, in my opinion.
I think that's why It Follows is also scary. Aside from like it actually happening to you and that being scary, but which they never really explain, but it seems that the Thing, it transforms into maybe prior victims,
right?
Or people you recognize. So like the neighbor, it changes into like his mom, and just something like that where like you want to trust it or believe in it, just like a zombie. We're like, no, they're okay. They only got bit, just a scratch, and then.
And it's funny you bring that up because it kind of ends in kind of a similar way as how The Thing ends. You know, it ends on this sort of shot of just the main characters, and we don't really know what happens after. You know, like in The Thing, in It Follows, you see someone walking up, kind of like far away from them, but they're still walking towards them, and is that the It monster or is it not? You know, I also love the vague names that they share in common too.
The Thing,
you know, and and they're gonna live the rest of their lives looking over their shoulders, which is why as soon as they cut to credits, the first time I watched that, I just cheered, you know, because like, wow, how powerful is that, you know? But then in The Thing, you don't actually know what happens. Like maybe they do get rescued, or maybe they just freeze to death.
We'll go a little bit into the spoiler of a specific scene, which is probably maybe the most iconic next to the chest chomper, where they have it's McGrady, is that his name?
Yeah,
Kurt Russell's character, and everyone's like tied up, and you're trying to figure out he has the blood, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna heat this thing up, and if the blood reacts to it, we know whose it is. And that whole time you're like, oh shit, we're gonna find out who it is. But you're just like, you're panicking so much at the same time. Like, I don't know if you've seen South Park did an episode where it was.
South Park's parodied like everything.
I think it was lice. Not lice.
It's the lice one.
And then
they all are wondering if
who has the lice, and they had the blood. It's so funny because it's the exact same thing. And Cartman has like the same like the hood like with snow on it and everything. It's hilarious. But I mean that just goes to show that if you something from your movie has been spoofed over and over again, that it's an iconic scene.
Oh,
either good or
totally.
bad.
Yeah. And, that.
Wait, what?
It could be good or bad if it's been spoofed.
Oh,
right?
sure. Yeah.
True. But I feel like that's the most like intense scene because you know you're gonna find out who it is, but you don't know which person it's gonna be.
And you know that as soon as they find out who it is, shit's gonna go down.
Yeah, and then you see the person change, and the other guys are trying to. They're just like, "Fuck, get me out of here!" And you're just like, "Oh no!"
And that's another kind of terrifying horror motif is when it's those scenes when there's a character that's like stuck in a close proximity as a monster.
Yeah. It's good. We're kind of ending this brief, but I feel like it's better to just go in not knowing too much. Like we spoiled some stuff, but for those who are listening who haven't seen the movie, this movie is very much a suspense film. The best way to observe is the first time, like no outside viewings or watching the trailer or anything. And I don't even know if the trailer even shows much because I mean I know some trailers in the 80s.
No, it doesn't show that much.
Yeah, but this is definitely up there with the greats of horror.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Not just gore factor, but just.
Now, many people consider it to be the greatest horror film of all time. I mean, it's one of those. You know, it's one of those that a lot of people revere that much that they would actually say that. So
I can say that. Like that alone, it's up there.
Yeah, for me, it's like top 5. I would say at the very least. Up there with like The Shining and stuff. But and it's hard to like put things at the top of any list really. But I would suggest that you just go in with an open mind, and especially if you love like movies like Alien or whatever, like just movies where there's just this dread, it just makes you feel uncomfortable, and like it makes you feel like your skin's turning. You just feel really bad for the characters. And also really believable characters too. I like that about the actors are all different enough from each other that they have their personalities that you get to know them in the movie, which is always nice. You know, it's nice that they're just not a bunch of like, you know, faceless, shapeless people basically. So
we'll just do our 5-star rating. What do you think out of 5 stars? Sam, we'll start with you.
5.
Yeah, that's gonna be a 5 for me, dog.
I'm bouncing between a 4.5 and a 5.
Yeah.
Just out of straight horror, it's definitely a 5. Yeah. I think of a movie in general.
Sure.
4.5, but as a horror movie, this is definitely a 5. Yeah. This is a go watch, watch again. I don't even know if there's commentary for older movies like that. But.
Yeah, the Scream Factory one does. Yeah, the new
they do?
the new Blu-ray.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. And another thing that we didn't even talk about was the music, the synth music, which is John Carpenter who composed it.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
yeah, director.
Because he also composed like the Halloween.
No, I know that, but he did not compose this one.
I thought he did.
He hired Ennio Morricone for this one.
Oh,
remember?
shit!
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
What am I thinking that he did then after Halloween?
God damn, Ennio Morricone did this.
Which
the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Come on,
it's crazy how he didn't get Oscar until
Hateful Eight.
Yeah, Hateful Eight.
And Hateful Eight actually uses unused music from the Thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, Tarantino asked to get some of the Thing music for
that's
Hateful
very
Eight.
cool.
Which is, when you really think about it, Hateful Eight's a very similar movie. Who the fuck do I trust?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Now it's bugging me. What other movie did John Carpenter... Because I know there's another one besides Halloween.
Films?
Yeah.
He did... What was it? He did Halloween? I don't know. Other than Halloween, I can't think of it.
We don't have to go too...
Yeah. But Escape from New York? Come on, man. Fuck yeah, Escape from New York.
I mean, what movie... Did he do that?
I believe he did the score for that.
For that. That's why I like when like a director does more than just writing and directing.
Oh, totally.
Like that's just
and
shows
like
their
scoring your own film is very like, who does that? You know, that's a very, very different skill. Although in the end, when you think about it, it's actually a very similar skill because you're just directing a bunch of people to do something. Mm-hmm. So it's just audio, not visual. But but what's funny too about the score to the Thing is that it doesn't sound like any of Morricone's other scores.
Oh no,
it's
it
all
doesn't.
Because he's emulating Carpenter in it. You know?
I think that's why I got confused because it sounds very similar. Like the synth.
Oh yeah,
like,
totally.
But yeah, that's pretty much we all agreed. This is one of the greatest horror movies of all time. It's definitely. It's not number 1, but it's up there. You can't name it like
arguably.
Yeah, it's up there.
Arguably.
But that's our review of The Thing. Stay tuned. We're gonna review. I'm not gonna say what it is because it's gonna come up a couple days later after this. So you'll find out then. But stick around. We got 31 reviews all this month. Some are podcasts, some are written. Until then, I'm Ikaika.
I'm Dave, the teacher.
And I'm Sam, the teacher.
Thanks for listening.